I mean, honestly, enemies should roll a fortitude or a will save to avoid being distracted by the cat's cuteness.
That is an excellent first line to be on the stream. It's true. That is what cats should. That is what enemies should do when a cat is around. Uh,
I
yeah,
should have taken Schadenfreude for cat purposes.
exactly. This is a stream about cats. We're here to discuss cats. You may have been bamboozled by the Pathfinder on the tin, but nope, it's all cats. But that's fine because cats are great. Beyond just cats, though, uh, y'all have a bunch of different characters. So one of you has a bear. Most of your, I think the party's half human, one elf, one halfling, but we'll get to that. Regardless, we're all here to play some Pathfinder. We're going to be playing through the beginner's box and the Troublesome Otari sort of collection of adventures afterwards. We've all covered this in session 0 already, but just putting it on record as well. That's what we're going through. And yeah. So the situation you're in right now is you're in the seaside town of Otari, which is known for its fresh fish and its skilled sailors. And it's a big, big logging town. You can see on this landing page we've got set up here, the long chute to the right coming down the cliff is a flume. They send logs out because all of the forests are up on top of the cliffs, even though the town is at sea level, basically. That flume helps them get all the logs down into ships so that they can be shipped away. That's their biggest export here, although the fish is obviously wonderful as well. It's also a town full of, retired adventurers. It's got that adventurous spirit to it. It was originally founded by retiring adventurers. It's quite a place, and there's quite an energy to it. It's a town not quite like any other. It's got this weird mix of big wealth and like small town energy, where you've got things like this big logging operation, the massive library and temple over on the other side of the town. Um, but like it's not a very large location, doesn't have a very high population, which should be like strange considering it's located on an extremely dangerous island surrounded by these forests that are like constantly teeming with really nasty stuff like undead and monsters and aberrations and who knows what else. And rumors constantly abound of all these things, all this treasure you could experience out in the all this treasure you could like accumulate, all of these adventures you could experience out in these forests. But well, this town managed to wedge out a little place of its own on even on such an island. And part of that is due to its just adventurous spirit. Despite the small population of the place, there are many people here who are willing to defend this place, even though they've retired from, their own actual adventures. And it's a unique spirit to this place. But to you, Otari is home. Maybe not forever. Maybe just for the last little bit, depending on which of you we're talking to. But for right now, Otari is home. You've walked through the docks, perhaps played on them growing up. You've gotten lost in the nearby woods, or perhaps have mastered walking through them. You've heard the fantastical stories of travelers from faraway lands and the tales of terrifying dragons, virtuous knights, and so much adventure here in this town. It's always the talk. Everyone wants to talk about adventure. And speaking of the talk around town, word has begun to spread around Otari that there's a problem down at the Otari fishery. Some are saying that some sort of beast is lurking in the basement, feeding on the stores of salted fish, which is quite a travesty. And seeing as how this town is, well, one of the things it's known for is its fresh fish. And all of you probably would have, unless any of you absolutely hate seafood, loved some of the fish you got down at the fishery before. Um, Everyone in town is worried that whatever's eating the fish, even if the fish are the only casualty right now, perhaps whatever's eating them might get hungry enough to move on and start eating the townsfolk next. And you all find yourselves now inside that fishery. The fishery is owned by Timely Tenderville, who I believe I can do. Oops. One of these. Send to the chat. Emily Tanderville. She owns the Otari fishery, and at nights when the actual business of the fishery are not ongoing, anywhere from like 8 p.m. on to a few hours into the morning, 2 a.m., 3 a.m., that kind of thing. She runs the place as a party spot. It's not really a tavern. It's not built to be a tavern, but there's a running bar there. People will gather there and place bets and play games and do all sorts of things. And Tamale always has some kind of event going on, especially on the weekends. And she tries to keep the spirits up around the town as much as possible.
Ooh.
That did jump in pretty loud probably morning. Turned down mine too. It's a good time to check those volume settings on Foundry. Want to check some of the volumes of the other sliders too. So, all of you are here. Why don't we go down one by one and have you each describe your character? We'll start with Joanna.
All right, so Ashay is an elf, female. She's got sandy, sort of blonde, sort of brown hair, falls about halfway down her back. And one of the first things that you'd notice about her is her expression and her stare is just kind of glazed over. And it's hard to tell whether she's like lost in her own world or if she's caught like something that you can't see has caught her attention instead. But she has that not quite there, but also like really piercing stare at the same time. She's a little on the willowy side, a little skinny, a little awkward looking, and her clothes are well worn, probably secondhand, and look like they've been hand adjusted to fit her body.
Makes sense. Thank you. And next up we have Liam. Could you please introduce your character?
Yeah, my character is pretty average height, pretty average weight. He's been living in the woods, so he kind of has a rough outline of his face, and because he's always been in the woods, his eyes are always getting caught by whatever movement is happening, and it's not quite shifty, but it's like any movement, he'll look at it and determine if it's good to be looked at or move on to the next movement.
Makes sense. Very vigilant. Marcelo, describe your character.
Yeah, so Oswin is a short little halfling dude with some short jet black hair. The one notable thing you'll notice about him is that he has one leg. One of his legs is kind of missing from the knee down. But doesn't seem to stop him from getting around. He has his little bear with him and a walking stick, which he uses every once in a while if he's just standing in place for a little bit. Yeah, he's a little bit quiet for a halfling, but and very much like Ogden, he's kind of high starting around. Also spent his time in the woods, worn clothing, and he's been a while since he's been out in the town again.
All right. Fair enough. Thank you. And last but certainly not least, Sky. Could you describe your character?
Well, my character's name is Ayala. She has pretty long black hair with a streak of color. She can usually be found at the library with her glasses on, face in a book, since she's here studying at the moment. She just really likes blue and books. And her cat. Her cat is named Nocti, and it is an adorable little thing that she loves dearly.
Absolutely. I would assume, is Nocti here with you in the fishery? I kind of assume that the bear, Siegfried, would not be, but...
Absolutely.
Unless-
Nocti follows Ayla everywhere.
Absolutely.
I'm taking the bear with me.
All right, he's well behaved enough. You can put him in a corner and he won't bother people. Maybe people around town are used to him at this point.
Yeah, I think if they see, I don't know, people probably aren't very used to me. I don't come into town super often.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. So we'll say you got that bear there. People are kind of giving it a wide berth, but nobody's like letting it get in the way if they're partying at the moment. Just running around dancing, they're cheering. You know, mugs of ale are being slung around back and forth. You know, people are asking for more over at their table. It's quite a rowdy scene here. The energy at the Otari fishery is always high here. It's always a bit crazy. And what would you all be doing to like participate in this? Are you all more like aloof back on the sides watching things? Is anyone jumping in and dancing or participating, or what's going on?
Go ahead.
So, you know how cats like to tap on fish, to poke them and play with them? At the moment, Ayala is probably desperately trying to keep Nocti away from the fish.
That makes sense.
Nocti desires snacks.
There's probably some fish the business is closed at this point, but there's probably at least some fish around, right? Maybe some fish hanging up, drying somewhere in the establishment or something. I don't know what people do with fish, honestly. It's been a while, but yeah. So you keeping Nocti away from the fish. Maybe there's a recently brought in net of fish that just nothing has been done with it yet. It's just kind of sitting there for now. Excellent. Anyone else?
Ashay's probably lingering right at the edge of the social circle, not quite part of it, but very obviously, enamored with it.
Makes sense.
So she's people watching, and again, hard to tell if she's just glazed over or if she's staring into the souls of everyone who passes by. But it's one of those.
Makes sense.
Is there a bar table?
Yeah, there's several tables around. There would be the counter of the fishery. That's usually just the front of the establishment where people would come in to sell their fish or buy fish that other people have sold to the fishery, all that stuff. You could that is all cleared off at night so that it can become sort of a makeshift bar. It's not like a fancy bar stocked with all kinds of things here, but definitely keeps it stocked with at least a few different local options, and it always has stuff available and pulls up some stools around it and stuff. It's it's only a bar at night, so things like the tables and things all get packed away during the day and get shuffled out. So it's not decorated like a bar so much, but it becomes one.
All right, Ogden would probably be at the bar, with a drink in his hand, trying to make it look like he's participating, but he's super awkward, so he's not doing a good job.
Yeah, fair.
Oswin probably grabbed a drink and is also doing some people watching. He's not used to being around this many people.
That's very fair. I'd probably have your bear nearby. So while you all watch the festivities here, we'll say it's a Saturday. It's the end of a long week. People are ready to just take a break tomorrow, Sunday, finally, right? Maybe go stop by the temple, whatever. But today is the day. This is the night where they can really be out late. They can really just party. They can really just sink into it, and they don't need to worry about tomorrow as much. Tomorrow can deal with tomorrow's problems. That's fine. Even if, today's problems become tomorrow's problems, in a sense. And as people are dancing and partying, finally, Tamily comes out from the back room once again, as you all saw her enter there previously. And for those of you who live out in the forest most of the time, weren't around town so much, and it seems like potentially everyone here is kind of a bit on the sidelines. If it seems like maybe your character wouldn't be here because they are just usually here, because this is the place to be if you're out in the nightlife of Otari, but if you were not that, perhaps Tamily actually specifically invited you here, and so you're kind of waiting for her, waiting to see her on your arrival. She would have sent you a letter if you were not going to be here anyways, if you're not a regular. A very brief letter, just written, telling you to show up. There's something that'll be very interesting, she says. You don't want to miss this. and you all would know that Tamley constantly has prizes available for the locals to participate in games to win. She tries to get something every week. All of the proceeds from these bar festivities she has in her fishery every weekend and most nights if she can make it happen, they don't go to herself. The fishery is her main business. She just runs the bar to accumulate money to buy prizes to then give away. It's really just an energy thing. She just likes having a place with nightlife here and doesn't take extra money from it. So because of that, she has pretty nice prizes after all of the proceeds from the bar get tallied up. And so she entices you all here with something you won't want to miss. And finally, you see her exit from the back room. I sent a picture earlier, but Tamley is a halfling who, as a funny coincidence with our other halfling, also missing a leg. But Tamley has a peg leg, and actually every day you see her, she has a different peg leg on. And at the back of the fishery displayed over the bar is actually all of her different peg legs, which she'll just take one off the wall and put it on and swap it like every day. She's currently wearing a peg leg that is like red and white, like barber stripe pulled, like striped up the peg leg with a great big blue bow at the knee to like tie it to her leg. So she wears these very bright, colorful peg legs. They're all different colors. Some of them are purple and green. Some of them are like tinted in strange metallic colors. None of them look like gold or anything extremely valuable. It just looks like she experiments with all sorts of weird different designs. But yeah, quite the style. And fitting of that style, she has quite the personality as well, as she stomps up onto the counter and like has a mug of ale in her hand as she raises it up in a toast, ale sloshing over the side, and she says, "All right, everyone, listen up. We've got a great prize for you this week. You won't want to miss this." Like kind of waving the mug of ale around to like get everyone's attention. And in her other hand, you can see what appears to be a piece of parchment. Not like fancy stuff, but it clearly has some sort of fancy ink written on it in large hand. It's not like there's a lot of text written on this piece of paper. It's just like one large signature, basically. And she says, "This week, we've got one voucher to the Crow's Casks, just down the street. Thankfully, Magaloy has been very generous. We have an excellent deal. This voucher here is worth a purchase of up to 5 gold pieces at the Crow's Cask. Now, we'll take you on quite the trip all weekend if you were to spend it all at once." And you would all know that the Crow's Cask is one of the most popular places in town as far as actually acquiring good booze would be. It is a tavern, but you don't necessarily go there to sleep or to like party. You absolutely can. That's more the fisheries thing. Instead, the owner of the Crow's Cask, who is a Tengu, a bird person who looks like a crow in this case, Magaloy, experiments with all sorts of handcrafted beers and rums and things, all sorts of stuff that they can gather from the local area, and it's like the best booze in town, basically. Magaloy also makes different potions and things, and is an alchemist who settled here and started working and set up a tavern because of that. So this is very exciting. You could get all sorts of valuable stuff there, or you could buy a lot of really, really fancy booze that you wouldn't be able to get anywhere else. And of course, the crowd is all very excited at this. And Tamley continues to to mention, you could buy an incredible amount of spiced pumpkin rum that's coming up. It's almost ready. You see Magaloy raise like a feathered hand in the back of the room. You could buy a week's worth of sour blackberry ale. Just starts listing off all these things, hyping up the crowd more and more. Now who wants it? She starts waving it around. Yes, that's right, all of you. So we will have a competition for it. And then she shifts down behind the counter and pulls out a large coiled rope. And it's very heavy, and she hefts it onto the table and she says, "We're gonna have us a bit of a tug of war. So, organize and decides. We will work this down one by one, and whichever team wins, you'll get the ticket. So, each of you find some groups. organize yourselves. And everyone starts, piling around, organizing themselves. And by GM fiat and mere coincidence, all of you four get organized into a group together. Would you all have
No way.
sought each
The
other
four
out?
loners do kind of
Yes.
tend to group together.
I was starting to think that, was this no one else picked y'all and you just kind of ended up in a group together because none of you approached other groups, or
Probably.
I feel like I would have approached the other quiet people that were people watching and tried to group up with them.
Yeah,
All right.
it's less of a don't know anybody and more looking for someone not super obnoxious and loud.
I took too long trying to wrangle Nocti, and everyone else was in groups by the time I turned back around.
Excellent. So this is a good time for you to introduce your characters to each other if you haven't already met in the past.
I feel like I would have seen Ale at the library, but I'm not full-time student. I just go there occasionally.
Oh, certainly.
So I'd probably nod to her first and say, "Hey, I don't know if we've formally introduced ourselves. I'm Ashe."
Nice to meet you, Ashe. Ayala. And this is Nocti.
And of course, I'm going to immediately pet the cat and go for the cat. And this is the most emotion you've seen out of Ashe to date.
Nocti will gently nuzzle her little ear up against Ashe's hand. Clearly enjoying the pets.
Absolutely.
Alright, and then I will look up and reach out my hand to the other two people and introduce myself again. Ashe, nice to meet you.
My name is Ogden. I'm not used to interacting with people and live out in the forest, but it's nice to meet you too.
That explains why I haven't met you yet. I don't go into the forest, I live in the library. Well, basically.
I come into town every now and then for supplies and knickknacks here and there, but I prefer to keep to myself.
I must warn you, for the purposes of this competition, I'm not very strong, so I don't like our odds.
I am adequately strong. I might make a good anchor for the team.
I don't know, if I were to rate myself on a on a scale of 0 to 5, I think I'm about a 0. It's really not my thing.
I'm stronger than I look, so I can help make up for some of that. And you? I turn and give a short bow to the halfling.
Oh, I lean my stick down and try do a bow, a one-legged bow, and he just says, "Hi, I'm Oswin. I too, much like Master Ogden here, I've been out in the woods for a very, very long time. Haven't come out in a while. It's nice to see people again. This is Coda." And oh shit, Coda, stop! This is immediately Coda's going for the cat.
Nocti poofs up her fur a little bit and tries to hide under her very large fluffy tail.
I'll go and grab him and just say, "It's friend, not food."
Asha's a little bit bemused. She's not really been out in nature much, so she's a little wary of the bear, but also it's cute.
Yeah, the bear is like basically almost as big as Oswin is.
He seems like a friendly bear.
Is
Yeah,
there?
he's really mostly a gentle guy.
Can I pet it?
You could try.
Asha immediately puts her hands close to her body and takes a step back.
I'm just kidding. He's fine.
All right.
So-
So, sorry, you can go ahead.
Oh, she was just gonna be a little hesitant, but stick her hand out to sniff, but clearly braced to yank it away if the bear snaps at her.
It the bear very warily sniffs for a second, and if you start to pet him, the second you do, he just melts.
Oh,
Oh,
I've never been this close to a bear before.
Well, I kind of had to take care of him after. Well, I found him when his mom was dead. So
Such a brave little bear.
I've never seen one before. I've only read about them in my texts.
so as your conversation moves on to the topic of bears, Tamley will stomp up onto the counter again and say, "I see. We have 4 teams brewing. Excellent. Well, the closest of you," and she points to you and another group next to you. "You two will start. We'll have the others start, and then the winner of each group will go against each other, and we will have our final champions for this week." Ha ha! And waves the ticket around again. So you're gonna go up against another group, and you can see nearby. It appears that the sort of leader of sorts of this group that is organized is Kileno Lathanar, who is you all would probably recognize him if you've had any dealings in town, because he runs the local market square. He's actually the owner of the square, and if you've done any business in the square, you've definitely seen him around. And I assume those of you who live out in the forest and stuff would have had to come to the market to get supplies and stuff. That would be the place you would go. So you'd recognize him. He is a little on the older side, but he's strong, he's ready, and he's very charismatic, obviously, leading the market, watching over everything. And it appears that him and a group of his workers, actually, from the market, are going to be your first group to go up against. So, for this one, I am thinking, if any of you is... who among you has a good athletics bonus? I don't think anyone's an expert at this level, right? Not yet.
I have a +7. I'm trained.
You're trained? Okay, pretty good.
I am not trained in athletics, but I have a +2 to strength.
My cat is trained and has a +5.
That's pretty great. Would you have your bear wander over to help? Possibly work. Because
the bear's got a.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I just said the bear's got a +6.
All right. So if you do try to bring the bear over, Kileno will object to this. Say, "Oi, Tamley, no, a bear in a tug of war, really." And Tamley will just look to you all and say, "Well, come on." She's trying to see what your thoughts are on this.
I'll sit out if that's the problem. My cat can perform for me, and
It's a bear. It's the bear gonna drink at the crow's casks?
does your bear drink, Oswin?
I mean, he will if you give it to him.
You can lead a bear to ale.
So seems you're gonna need to do some convincing here of some kind if you want to get the bear involved.
I mean, you look about as strong as a bear yourself, if I'm being honest.
Give me a diplomacy check.
Hell yeah.
Yes, I suppose I am. Fair enough. It wouldn't be fair otherwise, and he'll go get in line on the rope. So you've got a bear on your side now. So I think how we could handle this. This is not a real mechanic, but if we could all just roll, whatever you think would be relevant for this, right? If you want to be actually helping with pulling the rope, you could roll like athletics or something, right? If you want to be more of like moral support or demoralizing your enemies or I don't know, strategizing or something, like sell me on what skill you're doing here and how you're helping, and we'll just go down the list. So with Joanna, with Ash, how are you participating?
I think Usher's going to just go for pulling the rope. Like, she thought about moving the flag or something to cheat, but decides it's not worth getting caught.
Fair enough. All right. So we'll keep track of that number, and then next up, Liam, what is Ogden doing?
Ogden would probably be helping to pull the rope.
All right, so go ahead and roll your athletics.
Oh,
Not bad. Yep,
that is
fair enough.
bad. That was 3.
Well, it happens. All right, and then next up, Marcelo with Oswin.
Can you remind me what the goal we're trying to achieve is?
Yeah, so it's a tug of war. Essentially, how I'm treating this just to make it like an easy group contested check, which I don't think is a real thing in the rules. I'm gonna have you all roll your skills. I'm gonna have the enemies just all roll a bunch of athletics, and then we're gonna compare the two totals. Just add up all of the totals of both sides.
I don't know. Osmond will try and figure out where the most effective part of the rope would be to pull, and he'll try and pull there.
Okay. Well, what skill are you angling for?
I guess would trying to find one that
Do you have good survival or thievery? Because I feel like dealing with ropes and stuff, maybe there could be something there. Like you just know your way around a rope. So yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Roll that.
Okay. Cool.
It's session 1. We can be a little loose with it. All right. Ooh,
Nice.
very good, very good. And then your bear as well is participating. So what is your bear doing? Just pulling?
Yeah, he'll just pull.
You know what? I'm
Go for it.
9.8%. Spicy.
Sheesh.
That is spicy.
My wife's shooting me.
Excellent. And then Sky with Ayala. What's your character doing?
She's gonna try her best. And her best isn't very good, but she's gonna try her best. Yeah, that checks out.
Oh no! Well, she did try her best. All right, so let's see. What is that total? We got 29, 39, 40, 50. Yeah, wait, 20, 39, 58. Holy shit, you guys rolled really high. Okay, they only rolled a 40. You definitely got better than them.
Oh.
They rolled very low for their total. Lots of natural 2s and 3s. So it's a struggle at first, and then at some point Oswin finds a better way to like angle the rope that gets their grip weaker, and you manage to pull the rope tightly and finally pull the flag over the line, and everyone cheers. And Gileto's like, "Yeah, I'll never trust a bear again," and we'll retreat into the crowd. And then you all get to watch the other group of people up to bat. You see, one of the people is Lardis Longsaddle, who is the sort of chief of the guard here in the town, known as Captain Longsaddle. And he tried to retire at one point, but he got brought back into work because the head of the guard here unfortunately passed away in an incident that people just refer to as the incident, and so he got brought back into work, and he's very grumpy about it. And so he's you never want to get on his bad side, and if you're going to get caught by any guard in town, you don't want to get caught by Captain Longsaddle. He has lined up a bunch of the guard with him as well, and they're on one side. On the other side of the rope is Ilaria Galantine, who runs Galantine Deliveries nearby, who I can show you because the art's very cool. And she is a ranger who runs the delivery services here. She knows the local terrain very well, and she can get to and from Absalom and other nearby cities very quickly. And because of that, runs the delivery service. She's the person you'll go to if you want to order anything that's not from around town, easily acquirable here, not on stock. But yeah, very good stuff. And of course, leading the group, but in a weird way where it looks like everyone is actually looking to Ilaria Galantine as far as for direction, but the person who is being the loudest and trying to claim leadership, who then Ilaria follows and everyone follows Ilaria, that person is Carmen Rajani, who runs the smith nearby. He runs Blades for Glades, and he's again another sort of bitter person. You try not to interact with him too much unless you actually need something done, but he is incredibly skilled at his craft, and because of that, he's run like every other blacksmith out of town. He's just too good. He can undersell them, he can out quality them. He's absolutely legendary blacksmith and an asset to the town. He is ostensibly leading this group. You've got Ilaria as well, and some of his workers there, but even his workers seem to have more loyalty for Ilaria. And they absolutely trounce the town guard. They whip the shit out of them with that rope. It's like, all right, on 1, 2, 3, go! And just the entire guard gets pulled over by this other team, just straight onto the floor. And Tamley will say, "Arr, we have our 2 teams! Line up on either side! We'll give this one more shot." And so, once again, you're now up against much tougher opponents this time, and we're going to do the same kind of thing. Just pick what kind of skill you want to roll, we'll go down the list, and let's go for it. So, Ash, what are you doing this time?
I'm gonna cheat.
Ah, okay.
I'm gonna stand up at the front and in this struggle move the flag so that it's easier to pull across the line. It's closer to us.
Excellent. What kind of skill? Do you think maybe like thievery or something?
Deception.
Okay, yeah.
Would
I
that
think
work?
deception could work for this. Yeah, especially with this being sort of a weird skill challenge that's not real. I think deception works. Yeah, let's go with that.
I could also do performance for pretending to
Ooh, okay.
pull the rope.
Sure. I think either one, whichever way you want to slant it, is fine with me.
They're the same, so doesn't matter.
I'll also remind you all before you roll. You do start every session with a hero point. A hero point may grant you advantage on a roll before you roll it, essentially, right? I don't believe you can use it after the roll, but you can use it before a roll to say, I really need this to work. And hero points get handed out a lot more often than otherwise. So it's not too bad to spend them. But since you're up against tougher foes, now might be a good time to use it, but you can also save it for later if you want to. You can hold up to 3 of them.
Alright, I'm just gonna go because I'm hopefully good at this.
All right. 14. Respectable sum. Good stuff. On the higher end of the rolls. Very good, very good. And hopefully they won't roll nearly that well. So you manage to shift up there and start the flag just a little closer to your side, so you have a little bit of an advantage, and you don't have to get them quite as far in order to succeed. What is Ogden doing?
So, having a background in being a spotter and being used to observing stuff, I'm going to try to make sure I hold the rope, but keep an eye on whoever's kind of like anchoring it. And when they go to adjust, that's when I'll like pull. So I don't know if you want me to do a stealth or an athletics roll for that.
You know, I'm almost thinking like maybe even perception, but I think it could be either. I think perception or athletics are perhaps more applicable there, but if you do want to roll stealth, I'm also fine with that.
Okay, I'll do athletics.
All right. Woo! Very good roll. Very good roll. Huge numbers. All right, so while you are struggling against the rope, you pull that extra hard right when they go to adjust, and it slips the rope a little bit, gives you that extra edge. Excellent. So Oswin and your bear Coda, was it right? Coda?
Yep.
You could tell me what both of your characters are doing here.
I think we're gonna try and do the same thing we did last round. Stick with what works.
Excellent. So another something about angling the rope in just the right way so that you have more grip than them, and Coda just pulling on that rope as hard as they can. That die total did not reach me.
Yeah, I accidentally rolled to solve.
Ah, rip. Fair enough.
I revealed it to everyone though. It should be
There we go. Yes, survival 12. Very good, very good. Above that 10, that's a good roll. So far, very good rolls. And then Coda, right in the middle. Decent roll. Could have been worse, but yeah, still with that +6, it's hard to get a truly bad roll. And Ayla, what are you doing for the final action here?
I'd like to attempt diplomacy with the other team. Is it all right if my cat pulls instead of me? I don't want to chafe up my hands too bad since I have more studying to do tomorrow. And you really did rough work on the other team.
Yeah. You want your cat to pull?
Yes. Nocti, she's a good girl, aren't you, Nocti? And she'll look up at the leader with sparkling eyes.
If she wants to let her cat pull, let the cat pull. Otari will step in. Are we not gonna take this competition seriously? No? Just let them do what they want. It's fine. So here's Olaria's got your back here. No roll needed.
Okay, Nocti, I'll buy you a fish if you can pull this off. And Nocti will attempt to pull the rope.
All right.
Athletics?
Yeah, I think that makes sense. If Nocti's just pulling as much force as possible,
Yeah.
athletics makes sense. Oh, sheesh! That cat probably raises up off the ground because it's a wind cat, just starts pulling like horizontally using like wind power to move, and it's surprisingly strong, the amount of force that familiar can put out. So let's total it up. I'm gonna be
Good girl.
smarter this time and just use a calculator. All right, the 78 total as far as I can tell. You pull, you struggle, the flag goes a little bit over to your side, it pulls a bunch back to their side, it pulls a little over to your side, and then that timing with the rope comes in, they slip on the rope a little bit, you pull it a lot back to your side, and then you tell Nocti about that fish, and Nocti really starts pulling, and you pull the rope finally over to your side, it just barely crosses the line, and Tamley's like standing down next to it, like looking, trying to see if the flag is passed just over the line. You're not getting very close to the rope, and then she waves the mug of ale in the air yet again. She says, "Aha! We have our winners!" Yeah, and y'all can drop the rope finally. Says, congratulations, and she walks over to you with the ticket. Says, well earned. Take this, and as everyone sort of gathers back into the crowd, and it's like ooh, and a few people congratulate you, of course, but many people here wanted that ticket. She hands it over to you, and excellent teamwork out there. That was some good stuff. I do say so myself. Never seen a bear play tug of war, nor a cat.
She's a good cat. On that note, I'll have to swing by tomorrow to buy a fish for her. I promised.
Yes, of course. What a show! Now the fish is on the house. Yeah, hold on, and disappear behind the counter, and come back with a fresh fish, fished up that day, not yet processed and cut up yet. For the young cat.
Oh, thank you.
Of course. Well earned this ticket, and I'll be honest, I'm glad to see you all here tonight. I've got a bit of a job for you, I think, and I'm glad to have seen you working so well together already. I'm sure you've heard the rumors already. Something nasty lurking about, eating the fish. It's true. You should really see it for yourself, but I'll leave that to afterwards. So here's the deal. 10 gold pieces for each of you if you manage to pull this off. Should be a pretty good start, whatever you're doing here in town. Should be pretty decent compensation. Well, who knows what you'll find down there, but that's my price. You go down there, you investigate, you take care of whatever it might be, and, yes. You come up, you tell me about it, maybe I can help you if there's something else goes wrong, but looking for some possibly exterminators, essentially. Yes, I don't want to get too many thoughts in your head about it, but yes, something is breaking into the caskets and eating things, and you should really take a look for yourselves. Yes, sound good?
Of course. We'd be happy to help out. Well, I'd be happy to help out.
I will nod. Let's see. Can I do, what is it? What's the Pathfinder equivalent of an insight check again?
You can take the sense motive action, which is a function of the perception skill.
Is that an exploration action?
I believe it is technically. I'm not sure. It's not an exploration activity. It might be an exploration action though. But it's sense motive. It is a secret check. I don't think I set up the thing that lets me post that random actions to chat, unfortunately, but
if you go to your second tab,
Oh,
browse
found it.
actions, yeah.
all right. So, yes, you choose one creature. It's a secret check. Perfect. So you can't see that, right? The way you rolled it?
Correct.
Perfect. Okay. So, let me double check the numbers here. I'm new to this one. Okay, so you've been around town before, right? You're not frequent at the library, but you do go there, right? And do you live in this area primarily?
Yes, I think I'm relatively new to town, like last 6 months kind of deal, but
Okay.
been around enough that I'm not brand new face.
Yeah.
I just newish, kind of keep to myself, but here and not mean when you try and talk to me.
Makes sense. So, yeah, looking at Tamley, I'm assuming you've interacted with her a number of times before. She knew you well enough to invite you to this place and so on. Her current behavior seems very normal. She's got the same sort of energy she usually does, but when she gets down to business, she gets a lot more serious. She's willing to talk money immediately. All of that. None of this seems very out of the ordinary.
So I'm not getting the vibe that like she's keeping something from, like a big thing about this from us.
No. She did mention she doesn't want to get too many thoughts in your head. And perhaps that's something you could ask her about, but you don't get any other vibe like that. It's weird that she said that, but yeah. You don't get the vibe that she's at least trying to hide something from you, no.
I'm in. Thoughts in our heads, though.
Oh, yes, well, I've seen too many things, too many crawlies and creepies. I don't want to get any of those ideas in your head before you see it yourselves and make your own conclusions. But I will tell you, whatever's down there, it's too big to be rats. They're eating far too much fish. They're breaking open these barrels. It's not little nibbles. It's like completely broken open barrels. Very strange. But yes, too big to be rats. Not sure what else. Hopefully you'll find more. So that's 2 of you in. The other 2 of you.
Sounds good with me.
Excellent. And is the bear in with you?
Yes, Coda will join.
Excellent. Well, while you're down there, Coda can help himself to the fish in the barrels that are already open. Don't mind that. That's fine. Just don't break any new barrels open for him. But those ones are already, don't want to sell those to customers if something's been nibbling on them. But if Coda wants them, you can have them. Same with Nocti.
Back, Coda.
Yes.
You get to have a feast tonight. The bear's getting all excited.
Nocti will look up with like sparkling eyes at me, and I'll cautiously be like, "Don't give her any ideas."
Well, you could either start tonight, you could start in the morning. Maybe you could go spend that ticket if you want first. Perhaps the Crow's Cast will have a thing or two useful. But if you want to save it for booze, of course, that's always an option. Whatever works for you. I just want whatever it is gone.
We're all here.
Yeah.
Well,
Might
I'll
as
let
well
you down
at
right now
least
if you
take
want.
a look, right?
Yeah, why not?
All right. Well, come on to the back with me, and she'll lead you out away from the festivities and the dancing. And people's spirits have lifted again once the music's been playing, and they're all drinking again. And there's no like hard feelings in the crowd for y'all winning, obviously, but people are playing up the fact that they were bummed out about not getting this ticket, right? But they know next week there'll be another prize, another competition. It's whatever, just some friendly ribbing. And now that they're back into the swing of things, they're all happy and dancing and cheering again. And all of that sound sort of fades out behind you as you head into the back of the fishery, and Hamley finally closes the door on all of that. And there's a trapdoor down to lower into the fishery. And she says, well, this is the way down. Not much light down there. You might need torches. You all have those. There's some light, but, well, I'll be honest, not all of the lamps work. Well, I'll leave you
I'm
to
sure
it.
it'll be fine.
I must get back to the bar. And she'll head on over. So if you all are heading down, I would like to know, first of all, just like a marching order. And then also like who's carrying torches, who doesn't need torches, or do you have other ways of getting light, or like what's the deal?
Is it low light or dark light? Or darkness?
Good question. I don't remember the exact. Why do you ask? Let me ask that instead.
Because I have low light vision.
I do as well.
Yeah.
Same.
Nocti does. I don't. But Nocti does.
So let me double check the definition of that. Low light vision. Dim light as though it were bright light. I want to double
Oh,
check.
wait, no, I
because
don't.
I don't want to assume that light works exactly the way it does in 5e. But so you could assume, so the way dim light, it does work the same way it works in 5e, essentially, it looks like. So a light source will have bright light around it immediately, and then it'll fade off into dim light and then darkness after that. So if you had a torch with you, you'd be able to see in the dim light out past the bright light area more clearly, but then the darkness would still be darkness, right? If that makes sense. But if you don't have any light at all with you, that's just darkness.
Okay.
So who's heading down first? The trapdoor
Highlighted
leads.
torch.
Yeah, sure. So if you go into your inventory, you should be able to actually like equip the torch, I believe. There is a like a, looks like a cardboard box icon on the far right side of each row, and you can change where that ends up. So once you put it in a hand, on your actions tab, there is a torch is lit toggle, and you can toggle that on or off if you want it actually, on.
Very cool.
And then that will actually be reflected in the lighting system as well, which is very sick. So you do need to keep a hand occupied to use it that way, but you can do it that way. Anyone else
Yeah.
lighting torches?
I'd probably light a torch.
All right, so you can do the same thing.
I think if this was an unexpected trip or adventure, I probably wouldn't have my backpack or my cloak on. I would have left them at the library likely. So I don't have any torches.
You could ask your team to wait for a minute to get your stuff real quick, or you could say you just
Here,
don't
you can
want
have a
to.
torch.
I will happily take a torch. Thank you.
That works too. All right, so if you are lighting a torch that way, you can go ahead and do the same thing on your sheet. That way we'll have all of the light sources accurately reflected.
This is probably going to bite me in the ass, but I will not light a torch.
How do you
That's fine.
torch?
So in your inventory, on the far right side of each row, there's like an icon that either looks like a shirt or a cardboard box or all that stuff, maybe a hand.
Yeah.
So for
So
the
I
torch,
want to change it to held, I assume.
yes, so it'll take up one hand, and then once it's in your hand, on the actions tab, there's a toggle at the top that says torch is lit.
Okay.
And once you toggle that on, you'll have light.
Oh, it changes the icon. That's sick.
It's sick. The Pathfinder system on Foundry is so sick.
Oh, I didn't realize I had torches already. Okay.
Yeah,
They came in a lot of the adventure packs.
true. I believe every class just kind of starts with them. Just to give you a couple, which you could then sell or whatever, but hey. So there's a couple steps down from the trapdoor onto like a stone floor down there, and then the stone floor goes out a ways, and then there's a hook down the stairs that like winds into a deeper cellar. I'll move us over to the map there in a second. I just want to get our marching order.
Are you swinging your torch around?
Sorry,
Oswald?
I was looking. I was very curious, like what the damage roll for a torch would be.
Fair.
Yeah, you rolled max damage.
I really did. Holy crap!
Pretty good. So who goes down the stairs first?
I would probably be one of the first to go down.
All right. Who's up second?
Are there rafters up there?
There are some rafters, yeah.
I want to point to or knock the up to the rafters and give her a height advantage.
I would probably be second because I don't want to be in the. Well, actually, I'd want to be third because like I'm squishy, so I don't want to be in the back or the front.
I'll if you want to get in the middle, you and me can be in the middle.
I'll go in the back then.
Okay.
All right, so you go in the back. Cool. So we've got our order. I've pushed Nocti ahead a little bit and given them some elevation. And yeah, that should work. So
I did want to ask, since we're going to be since we know we're potentially going into combat, how are we going to be playing the rules with drawing weapons?
yeah, good question. So you can just decide you have your weapons out, but you have to decide ahead of time, right? So if you as you're going down here, some of you have torches in one hand. You can decide right now what you have in the other hand. The system will let you do that on your character sheet. So you see that like a lot of your things have in your actions tab, for example, right? You might I'm looking at yours right now. You've got like a dagger, a rapier, a short sword. You can just choose to draw one of those one-handed. Maybe choose to draw the other one with the other hand, whatever. I think your shield takes up your other hand though, so you might only be able to take one of your weapons out. But yeah, so that's up to you. As long as you do it before combat, right? If you get into combat and your character sheet's not set up right, I think I'm gonna have to be a little bit of a hard ass about it because the system's a little bit of a hard ass about it. So just make sure you've got your character sheet ready before combat if you want your character to actually have their weapons in their hand ahead of time.
Yeah, because I know there were a couple ones in our one shots where it was like we just get into combat and then we have to use actions to draw weapons and stuff. So
Yeah, I would say essentially treat it as whatever your character would be doing in this situation. If you're going to be walking around this basement with your weapons out, that's fine. Just remember your character has their weapons out. It might be tricky to like do anything else with your weapons out, right? If you're like, I try to search through the barrels, well, you don't have any hands free. Sorry, like that's going to be tricky. But that's just up to you to handle. Just keep in mind that your hands are full if your hands are actually full.
Yep.
Cool. So, um, that's another good question about the rules, though, and that reminds me as well of exploration activities, which are something you can do while exploring. And these are things like attempting to avoid notice while walking around, essentially trying to sneak around, trying to search while you walk, things like that. You can technically only do one of these at a time, I believe. So if you want to be sneaky while you enter down here, you all could do some sneaky stuff on the way down. If you want to just walk down and start looking around, like, there's options. But for now, I'll just keep it simple because this isn't really exploration yet. Although we are technically in the exploration phase of the game. Do you all want to sneak down the stairs or do you not care quite yet?
Yeah, and I
Um,
didn't see it coming in, which is
I'd
crazy.
probably default to sneaking.
All right, so if you all want to be sneaky, then stealth checks from everybody who's being sneaky.
Yeah.
All right, Coda, you gotta be extra sneaky.
And I will put this on the map.
I am not sneaky.
Fair enough. But I've got your rolls ready to go. So, can everyone see the map at this point?
yeah,
All right, free to walk around and just tell me what you're doing in this little basement. Oh, and I guess I'll describe the room as you enter. So, 1 second, I'm sorry. The stairs leading into the basement of the Otari fishery creak with age as you make your way downstairs to find the beast that has been eating all the fish. In the center of the room, between stone pillars holding up the fishery overhead, are barrels filled with salted fish. 2 of these barrels you can see have been smashed open, spilling their contents out onto the floor. In the east wall, there's a large hole, which some of you might be able to see at this point, which opens into darkness. So, yeah. You may now explore. Feel free to walk around. I did install a module that makes it so when you drag your token on the map, it will pathfind around walls and stuff, which is kind of cool.
Ooh,
Um,
that's awesome.
Oh, that's wonderful.
so
That's
that'll
good
help you
stuff.
avoid the thing where Foundry says, "Oh no, you walked into a wall, dumbass." And also, this map is pretty.
Yeah.
Thank
Sorry,
you,
I
Paizo.
don't know if I was moving or I mostly wanted to move around for Joanna's curiosity.
Yes, that's fair. It's a pretty map. The way you walk
Yeah.
under things and stuff. These
I
Paizo
just-
premium models are sick.
Yeah, I don't know. I always like knowing what the map looks like, even if my character doesn't know the whole deal.
I will stop you if you go too far.
I don't know why, but it's rolling as Edric for my bear.
Oh, I did not update the token. Here, let me. Was it rolling as Edric in the tavern or just here?
Let's see.
Because I think
No, just here.
let me update the token. I think there it should work now.
Cool, thank you.
No worries. So, can I just ask what each character is doing in the room?
Can I use the seek action to see if I can hear anything?
Sure, go for it. I believe that's a perception check, yeah?
Yes.
To
So
try
it
and
says
notice things
GM attempts a single secret perception check for me.
Yeah, if you could click that and just roll the blind GM roll, that would be
Okay.
easiest for me. Thank you.
Because I have the Whisper Elf, I think I get a 60-foot cone for hearing.
Okay, so are you listening?
Oh,
Are you
fuck it.
which direction are you pointing that cone? I guess I'll just ask.
To start with, towards the hole.
All right, very good. So while you listen in that direction, what's everyone else doing? Just to go through and get some actions in here.
I would
Mm,
probably. Go ahead.
Go ahead. I'll go. Ogden or Oswin is going to also seek, but he's going to try and look around and see if he can. He's actually. Can I have Coda like help me like sniff around for something, like sniff around for like the fish that might have been tapped into?
Sure. So the way helping someone works in Pathfinder Second Edition is whoever is trying to help someone else can roll a skill check that should help, which could be any kind of skill check, as long as you can justify it helping in some way. Usually the same skill, but doesn't always have to be, as long as you can justify it. And then if you pass a DC I have set for that task you've described, it'll give the other character that's rolling a +1 on their check. So
Cool. So can we
yeah.
both roll perception?
Sure. And if Coda does well on perception, they'll give your result a +1. So roll Coda's first. And I believe that is a circumstance bonus. Yes, it's a +1 circumstance bonus. Okay, so
Oof.
no bonus from Coda, unfortunately.
Not bad.
All right, very good. As you look around the room, while you're looking around these barrels and stuff, I'll jump back to Ash for a second just to say, as you look down this tunnel, you can see the light going down there a little bit. There's not too much. It doesn't go too far. You can see that the tunnel bends in the distance, but you hear very, very faintly in the distance with your very high check, just like occasional drips of water, things like that, and some occasional movement coming from deeper in the cave, some like little scratches and things, some sounds of something scratching against stone.
Do I like have any ideas at like something like nail? It's a scratching sound specifically, not like a slither.
Yeah, it sounds, I will say it was high enough to hear that sound, but if you want to try to understand more about that sound, I think maybe a recall knowledge check would work.
Okay.
It's just something little scraping sounds. And in the meantime, Oswin, your check around the room instead of down the gap in the wall. You can tell that, yeah, these barrels were broken up by something like a decently sized creature of some kind, a beast of some kind, maybe. It looks like the barrels were like really forcibly impacted from below and broken open and then like kind of torn open, like something reached in and pulled the boards down. And then yeah, got the fish out, and there's a lot of fish eating. Whatever was eating here was eating quite a lot of fish.
What would I use for that? Nature? Survival?
Yeah, go ahead and roll nature. I think that's fair.
And that's, let's see.
Just to see if
Single action, secret. Okay.
yeah, and that'll tell us if Ash recognizes anything about the sound from your knowledge of nature.
Oswin puts away his torch and pulls out his two-handed sling staff.
All right. So Ash, this sound, strangely enough to you, actually does sound like the sound of rats, despite being told that the fish down here were definitely not. There's too many fish missing. The barrels broken up were much too large to be rats down here. It still sounds like there are rats in the vicinity, especially rats down the cave. Ayala, what are you doing?
I am probably like. I think I'd come over here to check out the tables and see if there's anything that's been disrupted, while Nocti is in the ceiling looking around for anything suspicious.
Okay. So just more perception checks then?
Mm-hmm.
Go for it.
Perception? Blind, right?
Yes.
Or not? Okay. Perception check, secret.
All right. So you look around for just any details you can see about these tables and things. And none of the other things that are down here appear to be disturbed too much. It appears it's mostly just been a fish taken, right? You see some sacks of flour and these, little bottles of booze and things. None of those seem to be displaced. This all seems to be pretty normal. Nothing's broken or moved around.
Ceiling cat.
Ceiling cat jumps around doing ceiling cat things. Doesn't seem to be noticing anything out of the ordinary up there. Plenty of cobwebs to dodge. And Ogden, what are you doing?
I would probably just be searching to see if I find any sort of fur or droppings.
Okay. Let's see. Searching for like fur or droppings of some kind. I think what you can do to investigate something is essentially just make a recall knowledge check on your surroundings pretty directly. If I'm remembering that correctly. It's something like that. Let me double check, but I'm pretty sure that's correct. So go ahead and give me a recall knowledge. If you're trying to look for like natural stuff, it sounds like maybe if you have nature.
Yeah, I also have the scouting lore skill. I don't know if that has anything to do with it.
Possibly. I think scouting lore would be more about I mean, to me that sounds more like lore on scouting, right? Like famous scouts or like things that scouts do, right? More than like, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Okay, I can roll a nature check.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, whoops. I meant to do that privately.
Yeah, go ahead and give me a private one. Getting used to the new stuff.
Yeah.
To see if we can find stuff around here.
Is it private GM roll or blind?
Blind GM roll.
Okay.
Okay.
Gotta say that not knowing what I rolled really adds to the suspense.
Right? That's what I was hoping. Yeah, so with that check, you look around. you do notice what appear to be rat droppings, but they are big rat droppings.
Rouses, rouses.
And then, since Ash, you described yourself as looking down into the cave while we waited, you notice the rats approaching from down the cave. And we're gonna enter combat. But because you noticed them, let's see. Here we go. It has been a minute since I looked up the stealth rules, but I believe that essentially means they don't get any bonuses to their stealth check for initiative, but they're still going to roll stealth for initiative. And then you get to keep the total of your perception check to try and track them, essentially. And then everyone else can roll whatever they were doing at the time. So let's see. Your perception check to seek, I can click a button and I can reveal it to you. It was a 20, and I automatically put that into the initiative tracker as your initiative. And I will roll. Let me see if I do that. So if everyone wants to go ahead and give me whatever skill for initiative they want, we can do initiative.
Oh, you can do any skill for initiative?
Whatever your character was doing at the time is relevant. So I think right now it seems like everyone was doing perception. Right, you were looking around mostly. Whatever's relevant. If you're like sneaking up to somebody, you could roll stealth for initiative. The game mentions, for example, if you are talking with someone and then you suddenly strike, that could be a deception check for initiative, or something like that. But there's options.
I accidentally rolled it twice.
That's all right. Your first was a 26, so I'll just update you. And then, excellent. So let me bump this back up to the start. And we start with Oswin's turn. Let me get us some more fun music. And you can go ahead and take your turn, Oswin.
All right. Do I have like a full line of sight from where I am right now?
It looks like it, yeah.
Cool. Oswin is going to do a hunt prey action on this one in the back. Sure.
Alrighty.
And then
See if
he
this
is going
makes sense.
to he's going to command Coda to go get him.
Alright, so Coda gets 2 actions.
One of his actions will be to move.
Makes sense.
And the other will be... I don't know what the damage is. He's going to go for a claw strike.
Go for it. So with that targeted, it should be able to just work. That is a miss, unfortunately.
All right. And then Oswin is going to pull back on the sling staff and fire at the one that he targeted with the hunt prey.
Okay, that one should have cover if it doesn't calculate it for us. I think
Oh,
it
it
should.
does? Never mind. He would have done the other one then.
Okay, yeah, you would know, your character would know how cover works. That's fine. So you can target the one. I think it'll still have cover because Coda's up there, though. You're attacking
okay.
through a creature, gives it cover. which could still be fine. I mean, it's not an incredible bonus, but
Could he be there? Would that make it better?
sure. Yeah, that makes sense. He could be
Okay.
attacking from the side. He's your trained animal companion. We'll see if Foundry gives him a cover bonus or not, though.
Miss.
A miss as well, unfortunately.
All right, and that'll be my turn.
All right. So this first rat will take its first action to move. It'll move up here, and Ash is in range. Actually, you know what? It's dumb. It'll move up to Coda, and it'll attack Coda, because Coda is the first threat. So it gets in range. It is going to make a jaw attack at Coda. So that is an 18 to hit.
That will hit.
For 2 piercing damage. And then it is going to take its third action to skitter out and away from Coda. It kind of does a drive-by, bites and keeps running, and is trying to like get out of the fray. This next rat will move up, and you know what? It's going to do the same old thing. 21 to hit Coda for 3 piercing damage. And then it is going to move up here as I begin to just spread out into the room a little bit. These rats just rushing out of the wall, seeing people on their turf. And it is Ash's turn.
Okay, so I am going to use my move action first and get, because I don't like the idea of being right in the way. For my second action, I am going to make a strike with my sling.
All right. So if you could hover a target and hit T on your keyboard to target them, that'll make it a little easier.
There we go.
Sweet. Oh, unfortunately, a miss.
And then I am, let's see, going to use my third action to cast Guidance on Ogden.
All right. So if you drop that in the chat, that should give us a thing to work with. Alright, so Ogden, if you drag that spell effect guidance thing onto your character, onto your token, and the effect guidance immunity as well. Actually, that might be automated. We can leave that out for now, but that will automatically apply the bonuses in Foundry. Pretty sick.
Excellent.
Alright, next giant rat will go. This giant rat will just stay in place and attack Coda a little bit. Bite a 19 to hit Coda. For 3 piercing. And then it is going to scurry up to Ogden and attack Ogden as well with a multi-attack penalty. That's a 16 to hit Ogden.
Misses.
Alright, so it gets up to you and maybe you don't have your shield raised, but perhaps it tries to scrabble at your shield and just doesn't do much. Very dumb rat. This last rat is going to move up here to Coda again and attack Coda. Coda's in the front line. Coda's taking a bunch of...
Coda!
I went up to the front line early. That is a 22 to hit for 7 piercing damage. This rat really got a good hit in.
Holy shit, Coda's almost down.
And then you will also continue scurrying around the outside of the room. And it is Ayla's turn.
All right. First action, I'm gonna get a hand on my spellbook. Because that is in my robes at the moment, and I need to take it out if I want to use it. Oh, it's not Nocti's stuff; it's in my stuff. That explains a lot. Second, I would like to again, wrong character sheet. Good try, me. I'd like to use channel elements and activate my kinetic gate. So wind flows in the circle area.
Sweet.
And as a part of that action, I would like to use the Whisper on the Wind impulse.
Okay.
What was the barkeep's name? Can't remember.
Tamily Tanderville.
So using Whisper on the Wind, I will whisper, Emily, if you could lock the doors to the cellar for us. We don't want the rats getting out into the people. We've got it under control.
Yeah, I don't know if okay, you don't need to be able to see each other. You don't need.
I
line
don't
of
need
sight.
sight. No. As
Okay.
long as I start the message with the target's name.
Pretty sweet. Okay. So you hear back just a quick. You actually hear the start of. Can she respond or no with the message?
She can't. She can try.
Okay,
well,
she would
it has
know
the
that she
effect of
can't.
The message spells.
Yeah. That's,
So
reading the
maybe.
message spell. The target can give a brief response as a reaction. Okay. So we'll say actually, Tamily, you hear the tail end of another sentence she was already saying. She's she's it's just cheering with the crowd again. She says, "And get that table, another round of ale, ha!" And that just don't worry, I'm sure you can handle it. It'll be fine. And I'll lock it up. I'll lock it up. It's fine.
Excellent. And I'd like to use my third action to command Nocti to do stuff.
All right, Nocti gets 2 actions.
Heck yeah. Yeah, she does. First action, move action. She's gonna prowl through the rafters. And then she's gonna pounce down and attempt to bite the rat.
Go for it.
Okay. Oh, if I target the rat. 23 to hit?
That's a hit.
For 3 damage. Piercing.
All right. Pretty good
And
hit.
Passed.
All right, so Nocti runs over. It was a bite attack, you said?
It was, yes.
All right, so the rat tries to get away, and Nocti just quickly pounces down, just immediately takes like a big bite, just gets the rat's ear, and like the rat like yelps backwards. If a rat can yelp, probably like more of a squeaking, shrill sound, scrabbles away, and it is Ogden's turn.
Alright, cool. I'm targeting this rat in front of me. Do I click this? I'm going to use my exacting strike
Okay.
against this rat. So, first attack with the rapier.
That's a hit.
And
Uh,
I think you do have, you can choose when you want to use the guidance.
Yep, I'm going to use it for my further multi-attack penalties.
Okay.
And so there's 7 damage to the rat.
Ooh. All right, big hit. It is now
I'm
near
gonna
death.
use a second exacting strike,
All right.
and I'll use the guidance on this one. How do I decide
Okay.
to use it?
There is actually something different. We didn't look at the exacting strike. The press trait on it means you can only use it while you are under the effects of a multi-attack penalty. So you can use it right now, but you can't use it for the first one in your turn. But that's fine. Either way, you can use it now.
Okay, that
when
is
you go
good
to-
to know.
When you go to make the roll, there should be a guidance thing on there you can toggle, like a list of effects. It's been a minute since I've tried it.
Yeah, guidance on.
There you go. Unfortunately, that is a miss.
Okay.
So, if you were to take a third attack now, it would still be only at a multi-attack penalty of -5 because of your exacting strike. That's how that works.
Okay. And I will use a third attack on it.
All right.
For some reason, the guidance hasn't disappeared from my sheet. We'll turn it off.
Yeah, I mean, we could just do that.
Okay.
I don't remember how long guidance immunity lasts, but that's fine.
I think it's an hour.
Okay.
I think it's, yeah, it says duration of the spell.
So yeah, go ahead and make that extra attack. Ooh, that is a hit. Bam! One dead rat. As Ogden just tears into it with his, what was it, a rapier this time? Just stab, stab.
Yep.
Alright.
I miss it the second time because it winced out of the way, and I'm just like, eh.
Yes. So you stab it once, you get it really good, probably like right in the chest, pretty much, as it like rears up to try and scrabble at you, and then as it rears back again and dodges your second attack, you just stab it like right under the chin into the neck with the last hit, and it goes down. We enter round 2 with Oswin.
All right, Osmond will run over here and just say, "I got you, Coda," and then shoot at the one next to the cat.
All right.
Actually, he's gonna hunt prey first and then fire his sling staff.
That's a hit.
Nice. And that's I deal an extra D8 as well
Ooh.
from my precision hunter's edge.
Sweet. Ooh, excellent. That is another dead rat.
Sweet.
So it's being distracted by Nocti, and you just get that sling stone like right into its skull.
All right. That is my turn.
All right. This next giant rat is going to scrabble over here, and then it'll take an extra action to climb, and then it will scrabble down back here, attempting to just like get around behind all of you, and then realize some of its friends are dead and it can no longer flank anyways, but it did its best. It used all 3 of its actions, and now it's on Ash, but it's not doing any damage yet. Ash, it's your turn.
All right, let's take a look at this. All right, so I am going to cast heal on Coda. That's going to
sweet.
take 2 actions.
Nice.
And Coda heals for 9 hit points because I rolled terribly.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Excellent.
So that's 2 actions, and I think, well, I have a sling up. I'm gonna use my 3rd action to go hide with Ayla.
Okay, go for it.
My token's occupying a 5-foot cube, right?
Yes.
10. Okay. Okay. Was that a reasonable amount of?
How much movement do you have? You have 30 feet of movement, so that game says you moved 35 feet. If you hit Control Z, you can undo it. Because now it says you've taken 70 feet instead. Yeah, oops. So if you Control Z again, it should...
I'll just stop there.
Okay, so that's about 20 feet.
Yeah, mainly I didn't want to be next to the rat.
Fair enough. You've now got people between you and the rats, so work.
Yeah. I'm real squish.
Very fair. So this giant rat is going to see Oswin in the way here. It'll take an action to move up, and then it'll make a strike against you. That's a 15 to hit, Oswin.
I think that misses. Let me see. Yeah, that misses.
All right, it's going to try again with a multi-attack penalty. That's a 5. That's a miss. Ayala, you're up.
All right. I'm gonna do the fun thing. So to target things, I need to be able to see them, right?
Yes.
Okay. But if they show up on my, like when I'm clicked on my character and I can click on a token, that means I can see them, right?
I'm sorry. Can you say that again?
So if I'm clicked on my character to see my character's vision and I can
Yes.
see the token, that means I can see them sufficiently, right?
Yeah. I think I see what you're saying.
Okay. Cool. I am gonna do memes, and by memes, I mean I'm gonna use 4 winds. Whoop. And let's see, I will target Coda, Ogden, Nocti, and Ashe with that.
I don't know if you can see Coda. I think you can see Coda because Nocti can see Coda. If that makes sense. But Coda is not nearly in your cone of vision right now.
If I move Nocti on top of myself, I can still see Coda.
Okay, just me from GM position here, I don't think
Yeah.
there's a way you can see Coda.
Okay. Well then,
even
I
if
will
Foundry
target
is
myself.
Sorry. So who are you targeting?
Or Coda. Myself, Nocti, Ashe, and Ogden.
Okay. Yeah, that works.
So we each get to move up to half of our speed.
Just like right now?
Yep.
Yep. So you get to move up to half of your speed on Ayala's turn as part of these actions she's taking.
Rounded up or down?
Rounded down.
Okay.
So if I don't remember what my speed is.
Your speed is 30 feet.
There.
There you go.
Okay. 1, 2. Wait, does Nocti have... Oh, Nocti has 35. Damn.
Very
Fast
cat.
kitty. And I have 25. I'm gonna go over here. However, I also have where's the features because I need to reread it. I get a benefit for using 2 actions on an impulse. and I'm pretty sure it lets me move more. It's under single gate. Sorry. Yeah, before or after the other effects of the impulse, you can stride up to half your feet, speed or stepped. So I get to go another 20.
All right.
And using my third action, I'm going to command Nocti to, and she'll get 2 actions. Use some of that to get over here, and another one to scratch. Targeting the rat.
Hell yeah.
21 to hit
That's a hit.
for 5 damage.
Nice. Big damage. Nocti gets another good bite in. That was a
her.
claw. Scratch across its face. All right, Ogden, you're up.
Well, I'm going to attempt a stab on the rat. 13 is a miss. So now I can use my exacting strike.
Yes. So this will be at a -5.
Okay. Do I need to put exacting strike in the chat every time?
Nah, it's fine. As long as you tell me you're
Okay.
using it, and if we have a question about the rules on it, it'd be useful to bring it up. But it is good you brought it up the first time, so I could see the wording on it. But so that's a miss.
All right. Well, I get to use the -5 penalty again
Ooh, that's a hit.
for 10 damage.
Oh god, that is a dead as fuck rat. Go ahead and describe that one because that was more than its max hit points in that one hit.
Oh, fuck.
I was
And
kind
actually, go ahead and take an extra hero point for that one.
Okay. It kind of reeled after getting bit by the cat, and I tried to stab it twice, and I finally, wind up for the last one, and I get a good stab in on it.
Nice. All right, very good. So you absolutely decimate that rat, and Oswin, you're up. You have the last rat trapped in here with you. You're blocking its escape. What do you do?
All right, I take a step back, hunt prey, and fire a shot at it.
All right. Is there a reason you stepped back? Out of curiosity.
Oh, is there like a disadvantage to using
not
like
unless
a
your
ranged
weapon
weapon?
says so.
Oh, sweet.
Hell yeah.
Hell
I don't think mine does.
I think it's mostly bows that do. That's a hit. Nice. Bonk. Oh shit! And the extra damage because you tracked prey. That's a final dead rat. Can you describe the last kill of the encounter, please?
It's just he just fires it straight into the eye, and the stone just replaces the eyeball of the rat.
Excellent. So we end the encounter, and y'all are no longer in combat. The rats are dead. What do you do?
I'm gonna put my weapon away.
I will turn off my aura and I look back at my coat.
Should we check further into the cave to make sure there's nothing else that can get in, or?
That's a good idea. I wouldn't want there to be any more.
Coda starts tearing into one of the dead rats.
Alright, I grab my maybe if I listen first. If you give me a sec, I'll go in here and just listen for a minute and see if I hear anything else.
Sounds good.
So I'm gonna step just inside the cave, tune out Coda, and take a seek action.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, didn't mean to put
That's
the whole
fine.
thing out there again.
No worries. So yeah, another secret perception check, please. All right, so you scan ahead a little bit, listen for sounds in the distance, just anything that could be ahead of you in this cave here. And you hear still that like faint dropping of water and stuff, like a there's some running water in there somewhere. You can tell this cave goes much deeper, but you no longer hear those like scrabbling and scratching sounds. Nothing is at least like nearby.
I will turn around and say, "There's nothing nearby, but I hear running water. So I think our best bet would be to get them to shore up the wall, because if we go further in, we don't know how far it goes, or if we'll get stuck."
Um, I'd like to at least see it before we turn around.
Okay, you first then.
All right, works for me. Nocti will follow along. I do want to be a bit sneaky in case there are more rats.
Okay, give me a stealth check
So-
as you move, for you and Nocti and anyone else going down.
Oops, that was already Nocti.
And I believe that's another secret one, but I would have to
Oh,
double check that.
there you go.
Avoid. It doesn't say anything about it being a secret check, so I guess not. That's fine.
Can I ask what I rolled then?
You rolled. We'll just keep your original one. It's
I rolled.
you
No,
rolled
that
a-
first one was Nocti.
Nocti. Okay, yours was a 10.
Okay.
All right. So anyone who's moving up, some stealth checks sounds good. As you sneak on ahead. And the cool thing about this, when you move with stealth like this, those stealth checks you make now would become your initiative if we rolled combat. Not that there's combat imminent, but it's interesting. So yeah, you can see up ahead here, that is a cliff in front of you, a bit of a drop, which
Okay.
you might have to be careful moving down. The stones down here are getting pretty like damp and slippery. You have to kind of squeeze through some of the gaps in the rocks down here, and it's clear that not all of this is natural, but a lot of this is natural cavern. These caverns seem to stretch endlessly beneath the streets. Who knows what menace could be lurking down here? This passageway ends at a cliff with a cliff that like plunges sharply down into the darkness, but you hold your torches out over it and you can see the ground down there. But again, the rock is pretty slippery here, and you think it might take it might take a bit of effort, a bit of skill in order to climb down safely.
The use of a grappling hook.
Or the use of a
What's
grappling
the water thing that I see to the north?
water
Um,
thing you see to the north.
It looks like
it
it's like
does look-
right where my mouse is. If you can see-
Um,
oh, let me ping this.
Yeah, you can either
Can I ping
ping.
it?
You can either hold down, click to ping, or you can hit Alt C to reveal your cursor, and then Alt C again
Thank you.
to. All right, yeah. So that is just more stone, but it looks like at least some of you can see down there just the faintest hint of something else. Doesn't look like water. It's hard to tell. There's something weird in the air over there.
Could I make an acrobatics check to kind of like hop down there?
I think climbing would be an athletics check, but I
Athletics
believe
check, but I believe
arresting a
arrest-
fall would be. Let me double check that. Arrest a fall, I believe, is a thing you can do. Is an acrobatics check. Yeah, so you could try to just drop down there and tumble if you want to. Which would be an acrobatics check.
Okay.
You probably would need to roll athletics to climb back up later, but for now, dropping down, you can do acrobatics. Okay. So with an 11, unfortunately, you do in fact hit the ground for full damage.
Oh god.
Let me see here. I thought it listed in here. Okay, so an 11 was your total. So you take 5 damage from the fall, but you do manage to get down there, which I can do for you.
Are you all right down there?
Yeah, I'm good.
The rock
I-
is slipperier than you expected.
Kind of missed my footing. I'm all right.
Are you going to be able to get back up?
Yeah, I'm sure I'll be fine.
We have rope. Especially if the bear helps anchor the rope, we should be able to help with that.
Coda can do that.
I also have a grappling hook that I can hook somewhere, and we can dangle rope from that too.
Is there anything nearby that would be suitable to support a grappling hook?
I mean, I assume these rafters over here, because it's like 45 feet, so if we...
It's a
I don't know if that
45-foot
would
rope,
work.
you said?
Well, it's a 50-foot rope.
It's a 10-foot drop. So you would need... It's 40 feet to the edge, 10 feet down. It would just reach. Probably wouldn't like touch the floor on the other side of the cliff, but it would be about like halfway up, and you could just like kind of jump up and grab the rope, basically. Oswin might need a little help jumping up to the rope.
Do we want to do that?
Is it like what time of day is that?
It was late at night when you went down here because you were partying at the late night fishery.
Yeah, I would be fine going back up and reporting on everything we found, and then coming back tomorrow to check this place out some more.
I don't know that I could patch anybody else up today. So tomorrow might be a better idea.
To that point, even if you don't have healing magic, anyone trained in medicine can do some patching up, which is theoretically infinite.
Oh right, yeah. Okay.
So combat healing, obviously, much faster. Like healing somebody out of combat takes like 10 minutes. But so you might be in more trouble if you get into a fight. But yeah, other than that,
Since we're here, we might as well go ahead a little, just in case, and then we have more information, and we could maybe bargain that for more coin if we need.
I mean, we've stopped the immediate threat on the fish, as far as we know. I feel like this might be a bigger issue, though, than what we initially signed up for.
I would agree with that.
Yeah, you may be right.
Which is to say that it might be a different quest to uncover what's in here.
You have a point. We should talk to her and see what she wants to do, because if she just wants to rebuild the wall and reinforce it, then it doesn't matter what's behind it, really.
Well,
Until it gets through, if it does.
yeah.
Yeah, we should also probably ask around town if there are other strange happenings, since this cave seems to go under a good chunk of the town.
I mean, I would certainly like to know if anyone knows about the cave before we check it out too much farther, and what sort of thing we're dealing with here.
Aren't there always strange happenings in this town? At least that was the impression I got.
Oh, I don't know. I just got here. But someone has to know something, right? Maybe there's a book about it. I can check the library once I'm back.
Perhaps. Maybe there's a map of the underground network. Somebody's probably tried to map it out.
Well, the first thing we should at least get Oswin out of the pit.
Oh, of course. I
Yeah, it should be
will.
fine.
I will get a rope from my pack and hand the end through to everyone so that we can be an anchor for Oswin just in case.
Yeah, I figured it's probably not too hard for any of you to lift me up. I only weigh like 70-something pounds.
I think I would
Okay.
struggle with 70-something pounds.
I figure if you hold the rope, you can kind of help yourself up as well without having to worry about slipping so much.
Mm-hmm.
So here's how I'd like to handle that. The strongest among you can give me, or whoever you think wants to take point on the rope here, can essentially try to aid Oswin using the rope, right? So you could make an aid check using athletics or something, and then that might give Oswin a +1 here with a circumstance bonus. If that makes sense.
I have a +7
Sounds-
in athletics.
Then that would be you.
Mm-hmm. Nocti only has +5.
Is this a blind roll or?
It doesn't have to be blind, no. Alright, so you're providing the rope, and it'll give Oswin a little bit of extra leverage here, but you're not doing too much to lift him up the side here, unfortunately.
The rock is slippery.
It is slippery, yeah.
I'm trying to climb up.
Oh, that was Ogden. So Oswin needs to roll athletics now, and then we'll see how far you make it.
Damn.
All right. Check this. Yes. So that you unfortunately make no progress at all. You're stuck slipping against the side. It seems like this is what you're currently attempting is going to be pretty tricky here. This wall is not easily climbed.
Do you still have your hero point? I mean, it's after the roll at this point, but
Yeah.
what do I have that could help? Cat support benefit wouldn't do anything here, would it? Like moral support?
Probably not at the moment. But if y'all want to keep trying to roll again, you can. That's an option.
Okay.
You just risk the potential if Oswin rolls really, really poorly, there's a chance for more damage here. But rolling really well could get you all the way up the cliff. If you guys want to think of other solutions, you could try that too. But there's nothing saying you can't just try climbing again.
Is your grappling hook reusable, Ogden? Because that might help.
I would assume so. It does not say it is used up.
Is it marked as a consumable? If not, then you should be reusable.
No, it's just under equipment.
All right, yeah. So I'll say as long as you can pull it out of whatever you hook it to later, then yeah.
We could try and set that up so that Oswin could use the mechanism to add a little bit of push.
Yeah. So what would I roll for that?
I think the grappling hook says to make an attack roll to like hook it into something. So let's go with that. Just roll whatever weapon you want just to see how that works, and then we'll say you hook it into one of the things up the one of the rafters up in the room, or maybe to a wall or something.
Would this be like simple weapon, advanced?
A simple weapon.
Okay. So I have a +5 to simple weapons.
Pretty sweet.
So I would just roll d20 +5.
Yes, I think you could also. Can you not just roll simple weapons? But you could just roll. Yeah, +5. That's fine. Okay. So you hook that grappling hook in. We'll say it's hooked up like in the wall up the slope a little bit. Very sturdy. You pull on it. It holds your weight, so you're sure it'll hold pretty much anyone else here. And you dangle that down the side, and it just barely reaches like 3 feet off the ground. And Oswin should be able to reach up and grab that and climb up. So I will say this grappling hook, as long as you leave it here, will give anyone climbing the wall a +2 bonus. An item bonus.
Sweet. All right, I'll try and roll again.
All right, a 19.
Sweet, so a 21.
The 21 is a critical success against this wall, which means you get all the way up in one roll.
There we go.
And I'll move you up. There you go.
Whew, thank you.
Glad to have you back.
All right. And did you all say you were heading back up to the surface at this point?
I think that's the plan, although I need to channel elements again to whisper to Tamily.
All right, go for it.
And we also have Nocti unhook the grappling hook.
Nocti will hop up into the rafters while I'm channeling, and do her best. I don't know what that entails, but she will do her best.
So what do you say to Tamily?
Yes, I will hit this first because I need to. And then whisper on the wind. Swoop. I'm going to say.
So that aura, just for flavor, it probably starts blowing wind around you, right? So like, does everyone's like hair start getting blown around and stuff? Like, how intense?
A little bit. It's fairly gentle, but noticeable especially in an area that shouldn't normally be windy.
Like a cave.
Yeah, like a
Makes
cave.
sense.
Yeah.
You notice a little bit of gray dust adding to the wind, and Ashe just kind of coughs a little bit.
Interesting.
But like a nice autumn breeze, that sort of energy. I will message saying, Tamily, you should be all set to unlock the door if it's all right. We've solved the pressing issue, and we're on our way back up.
All right, we're just wrapping up here. Well, I'll come let you out. Let's talk. And
That's a good idea.
that is where we will end tonight's session. As you all head back up out to the... Yes. Sorry.
Can I turn off my kinetic aura first?
Yeah, that's fine.
Woo!
Session 1 complete. Oh, actually, before we all go, a couple things I forgot because I'm dumb. Apologies. You've completed a few encounters tonight, and we are using XP. So for completing the tug of war upstairs, each of you take 60 experience points.
Woo!
For defeating the rats, each of you take 80 experience points. And for finding a way to get the grappling hook to go down this cliff here, just to finding some solution to get down the cliff in one way or another, 10 extra experience points. So that should be a total of 150 experience points at this point for everybody. And I'll try to remember to announce those things as you get them in the future, but hey, at least I got them by the end of the session today. Well,
Hell yeah.
Can I ask if Nocti was able to unhook the grappling hook?
that depends. Do you actually want it unhooked, or are you coming back down here and want to leave it?
I think Ogden asked if it could be unhooked, and I assume it can be set up easily enough again, probably, right?
Yeah, I mean, I just need to make an attack roll against the rafters, and I'd like to have it in case we don't come back here. And
Yeah, okay, that's fair. Yeah, we'll say Nocti's able to do it, just to hand wave it. It's fine.
All right.
Besides, we
And-
don't want to give anything else help to get up.
Indeed.
True.
That's a good point. All right, so we'll leave it there then, and next week we'll see what you do. You'll head back up to the surface, talk with Tamily, and see what your next steps are. Well, thank you all for joining me and starting out this mini campaign.
Thank you for
Thank
being
you.
here.
Thank you for running.
You're welcome. It's fun.
Yeah.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.